So from cars to robots.
Yeah.
There's some similarities in those two industries, but
Cars are big robots, you know?
just big robots. So let's talk a little bit about, we're talking about the stages of robotics and what Amazon is doing, and you really see the history of robotics in sort of 3 phases. Can you just talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I mean, robots are not new. They've been around for a while, and you know, first they're like curiosity things, and you know, they were entertainment devices, and then they became useful. And people put robots in factories, and they became utility devices, and they did things for people. They took burden off of lifting and move material around in factories, and you know, cars are built with robots to a large degree. And in the next iteration of robots, and this is where we spend our energy on the product that I lead at Amazon, is moving into the direction of robots being companions and endearing members of your family, and actually having personality and being able to have conversation with you, and knowing something about the environment so that it can be more than just transactional. So
we should just introduce the robot, the first robot that you introduced. I imagine you're going to have many more, but we've got a video of Astro for those of you who haven't seen it. We should just go ahead and roll that, and we'll talk over it. Now, not everybody has probably seen Astro because it's not publicly available. You need to qualify to get an invite to get one. When is it going to be publicly available, and why is this the rollout you're doing?
Well, so this is one of our most ambitious devices ever. It's the most complex device we've ever built and sold to our customers. And so we're using what we call a day one edition process, where you have to do an invitation. But we're moving quickly toward making it generally available sometime in the next coming year or so. So I can't pinpoint the exact time, but it's coming soon.
Cool.
But what you're seeing in this video is an example of how our first home robot, we call it Astro, is not just, you know, endearing and fun and has a personality, but it's actually useful. And this is an example. Astro is checking the door to see if it's open and bringing that status back to the owner. So you can use it for getting awareness of what's going on in your home. And this is really profound. I mean, I used my Astro earlier this week while I was here at Techonomy. I wanted to check on our cat and our cat sitter, and so I use my remote control capability of Astro to go check on our cat, and dropped in and had a little video chat with the cat sitter, and it was really pretty cool.
So this is.
I think it freaked them out, though.
They weren't expecting the call. We'll get to privacy in a second.
Yeah.
But what strikes me is when I looked at the product, I was at PC Magazine when the Alexa first came out, and we reviewed it, and we treated it like a Bluetooth speaker, and we gave it sort of a middling review because it was overpriced, and we didn't think the sound was that great.
Yeah.
And it was like, it took 6 months for us to realize this is not a Bluetooth speaker.
Exactly.
This is something else that we haven't seen before, and there are going to be applications for it that we hadn't conceived of, and some of it's just a kitchen timer.
Exactly.
Asking the weather every day, like all these things we didn't know because we'd never seen anything like it before. I think Astro has that same type of potential.
The analogy is really quite good. It's because when we first introduced Astro to the world, a lot of people reacted to it as like, oh, this looks kind of like an Alexa rolling around on wheels. But it's so much more than that, because it has mobility. And when you give a robot mobility so that it can understand the 3D space that it's operating in, it can know or have awareness about what's going on. It recognizes you as a person because we have visual ID built into it. You have to opt into it, of course. That's one of our privacy features. But because of that, when my Astro sees me, it greets me by name, and it can then act on routines that I've defined. So it will go to the kitchen, for example, turn on my lights, activate my morning newscast. And you can't do that with just a single stationary device. There's so much more you can do once you have mobility in an intelligent platform. In addition to all that, it also has its own personality. So you can talk to it, and it can talk back, and you can have a nice interaction with it.
So let's run down some of the, I mean, obviously it will work like an Alexa and answer your questions.
Of course.
But the mobility opens up all sorts of new applications, security being one of them, and home monitoring in sort of the most broad sense. Can you talk a little bit about those applications?
Sure. This is sort of the breakout feature of Astro and home robots is it gives you additional peace of mind. By being a mobile device in your home, and by the way, it could also be in a small business, and that's something we're looking at, is making it available to people who have put their heart and soul into building their their small business. And they may not be able to afford a live security guard, but they can afford an Astro device that can be integrated with a Ring alarm system. So, but in your home, we have an integration with the Ring alarm system, and we have home monitoring capabilities. So once an hour or however often you want to set it up for, Astro will patrol your home, take a video of it. If it sees something out of the ordinary, like a window open that shouldn't be open, or a person that doesn't recognize it, will alert you. It can also trigger an alarm if you've got it configured to integrate with your Ring alarm. So our customers are telling us that they love this feature of Astro. It gives them additional peace of mind, and it's the number one reason people are buying the product today.
It's also a great resource for elder care, where you don't need somebody. You just want to check in on a relative or keep tabs on them, and it's got some great applications there.
It's a two-way communication device. So if you have a loved one that you can't be physically with all the time, you have an Astro robot that you can have in their environment. You can drop in on your loved one and check in on them. It can also be proactive. One of the things about robotics and smart devices in your home is they can all kind of work together on your behalf in a proactive way, so that you don't have to take action. It takes action on your behalf. Just like other devices in our home. I don't have to monitor my front porch to see, well, when is a package going to be delivered. My Ring doorbell does that for me, and it sends me a little notice. And so robots are the same way. If something happens that's out of the ordinary, Astro can alert me that there's been a fall or there's been a change in a pattern that's happened in the home that was not expected, and it will tell you. So this kind of proactive, intuitive action on your behalf, making your life better, is why we're doing this, because it's really improving our customers' lives.
Yeah, I'm impressed we've gotten this far in the interview and you have not mentioned ambient intelligence, which is sort of a touchstone for Amazon and for you. And obviously referring to the fact that Amazon has a whole collection of devices, technologies, services that are throughout the home that are really, when you put them all together, give you a picture of your environment that's really unprecedented. So let's just define ambient intelligence.
Sure. So I was really excited earlier, yesterday, there was a talk talking about the power of voice. And if you think about the evolution of computing and human-computer interactions, we've gone through a few revolutions. First revolution, computers filled rooms, and then the next revolution, people typed on keyboards and used mice and pointing devices, and maybe some had gestures. Now we're using voice. Ambient intelligence is the next revolution on top of that, where you don't have to be proactive with your computer. The computer devices are proactive on your behalf. They're intuitive, they're proactive, and they're personalized. If you've got these three attributes, so intuitive, what I mean is, you just plug the device in and it just works. You don't have to have a manual, you don't have to figure it out, it just works, like a Kindle. Kindle is arguably the first ambient intelligent device. It redefined how we consumed and read books. When you were reading a book on a Kindle, you don't focus on the technology of the Kindle and how the technology is working. You're just reading a book, and you're just buying the next book because it's recommending it to you. With Echo devices, you just plug them in and you just talk to them. Same with the Ring doorbell, the example I gave earlier. Same is true for Astro, the robot, which is not just intuitive, but it's also personalized and proactive. It will react to the environment, like in the home monitoring case. And the personalization is hugely important, because when Astro interacts with me, it should interact with me differently than it interacts with my wife. So, and that's pretty special. So when Angela sees Astro says, "Hi, Angela, good morning, you're looking beautiful." And when it sees me, it says, hey dude. So, and I configured it that way because I wanted it to do that. And in the future, it'll have more of that kind of personalized, proactive interaction. And this is what makes it more intuitive and makes it better for your life.
You also designed it to be cute.
That was on purpose.
And it wasn't by accident.
No, it was not. We have a whole team of human-computer experts, human-computer design experts, focused on ensuring that Astro can be accepted into your home. I mean, if you think about, you're inviting this robot into your home to be around your kids and your family and your pets. And you want it to, be endearing and not scary looking, and you want it to be cute. I mean, it's like when you buy a pet, you don't want your pet, you want it to be cute.
How did your cats react to the Astro coming home?
We have one cat. It's the greatest cat in the whole world, and our cat loves Astro. To the most, it's a. He's a cat, so he ignores it most of the time.
Making friends.
But they made friends with each other. But speaking of cats, so one of the things we've heard loud and clear from customers from the very first day we introduced Astro is that our customers wanted Astro to interact with their pets in a more proactive way. To your question, right? So when we first brought Astro home, Astro kind of ignored our pet, and our pet ignored Astro. But what would really be cute would be what if Astro would recognize our pet and would take photos of the pet, and when we were not away, and like send us little video clips of Jasper when we were away. Well, now it does that. So we've added that feature. It's part of our commitment to being customer obsessed. Is we listen to our customers and we add those features to the product as we go. So we recently built that into Astro, and that'll be shipping on via software update soon.
So I think probably the one reservation people have is bringing another device into their home. A lot of people are uncomfortable with Alexa in their home. But I mean, how do you address the privacy issues and giving users control over the technology in their home?
Well, this is a super important topic, and nothing is more important than privacy and security when you're talking about a device like a robot in your home. So robots in homes are a whole different thing than robots in factories. They have to deal with lots of complexity. When we introduce a robot in your home, it doesn't know anything about what your home looks like, and so it's got to discover your home. It has to coexist with you. You have to trust that you can bring it into your home, and you have to know that you've got control over it. So we designed it from the ground up to be built with privacy from the ground up. Is the technique we call privacy by design. And so there are multiple layers of control and privacy built into Astro. So let me give you a few examples. There's a privacy button on Astro, just like there are on all of our multimodal Echo devices, where you push that button, all microphones, all cameras, and all motors are turned off. So it can't move, and it can't listen, it can't hear. Like the drop-in feature I just talked about on our cat sitter, when you do that, it can only be done from a cell phone that was physically paired with Astro. And then when that drop-in occurs, Astro makes a big noise, and you can't mistake it. And if you don't want that to happen, he could have easily gone up to the Astro and pushed the screen, and it would have gone off. You can put zones where you don't want Astro to go, out-of-bounds zones. Everything is opt-in as far as visual ID. And most importantly, all the automation. This is one of the hard science problems we have to solve for bringing this product to the market, which is the automation stack, the tech stack for doing the autonomous navigation in your home, the SLAM algorithm, the simultaneous localization and mapping that we integrated into the product. It's all done on device. None of that sent back to the cloud. And trust me, that was hard to do. And so the integration of the sensors with the AI stack and the algorithms that produce the ability for Astro to have intelligent motion that you can trust with all the cues so that it doesn't surprise you. So like when it turns right, its eyes look to the right and its head pans to the right, so you know it's going to go to the right. It makes cute little sounds. And,
you designed it so it wouldn't make sudden moves.
Exactly.
It would telegraph which direction it was moving in before it actually started moving.
Exactly. It telegraphs it, moves its eyes. And by the way, the eyes on Astro was very intentional because we wanted to give it personality. And so there are these little movements it'll do in response to actions that happen in your home. You could ask it to do cute little movements like, hey, Astro, act like a whale. And it does this cute little motion. It's really quite cute. But anyway, that was all on purpose because we wanted Astro to be felt like, non-threatening, easy to be around, fun to be around, but also useful and like considered part of your family.
So we're going to run up on time, but what are you excited about building into Astro or future robots that we can look forward to in the next 5 years?
We're in the age of AI. And so several of the talks this week have been all about what AI is doing to digital devices. And I am so excited about that because the promise of AI will allow us to build more and more intelligence into this product so that this product, which has the ability to know about your 3D space, can also now have a memory and can have a well, just in simple terms, have a brain. So have contextual awareness of what's going on and have natural language understanding so that you can have an interaction with your Astro robot that is not transactional, but is more conversational. It's got more contextual understanding of the environment. So it can not only know, today it knows about doors and windows. It can advise you as to whether you left a door or window open. Imagine in the future with this contextual understanding and awareness of the environment, it can do things like help you find your keys. Hey, Ken, you left your keys over here on the, on the couch. Or, if you see a child standing by a stove, it can say, well, that's kind of a dangerous situation because I know from contextual awareness and from learning about the environment that that's not a safe environment.
Or to detect that the burner is left on.
It can tell you that the burners are left on. Or, hey, you can turn, dumb things in your home into smart things, like your sink. It can say, oh, you left the sink running. Or there's been a flood in the bathroom. And so this a promise of having AI integrated into these devices brings the promise of ambient intelligence to life because robots are mobile and they can get around your house. Nobody wants to put cameras all over their house. But if you've got one robot that can go around your house on demand, on your behalf, being intelligent, you've effectively solved that problem without creating a privacy challenge.
Fantastic. Well, I'm sure we'll continue this conversation in the group conversation at the end, but thanks so much for coming by.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you.